Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hi, Zainab. Hi, Tobi. Hi, Shion. Um, so, my name is Yewande Akomolafe Kalu, but you can call me Wendy. And welcome to the third edition of Grow My Business webinar for the month of August. This is our last one for the month. If you've been joining us from the beginning, you already know what Grow My Business webinar is. But if you haven't, then I'll go into a little bit of detail on what we are and what we're doing here. So when the pandemic hit, we wanted businesses to get the opportunity to get access to resources and information that could help their businesses survive the pandemic, but also kind of thrive post-pandemic as well. So we've been speaking to a lot of professionals and experienced business entrepreneurs and business founders all over the world. We've spoken to people from South Africa, from Kenya, Nigeria, who have experience in kind of building businesses that have been able to stand the test of time, which is ironic because that's the topic for today. But basically, we've been doing this now for, I think this is our 20th one. I think this is our 20th one. So we've done 20 sessions and we've covered a wide range of topics. And I'm really glad that you're here today because today's topic is building businesses that stand the test of time. So, I'm going to go through our guest speaker. I'm just going to introduce her. Her name is Tobi Eyinade. She's the co-founder of Roving Heights. If you don't know Roving Heights, they are a book company. They're a book retailer in Nigeria. And they sell all sorts of books, from socially conscious books to novels, to every popular book that you want. Roving Heights has it. But in addition to that, Tobi is also an entrepreneur and a marketing communications professional. She has experience in retail marketing and in banking. And Roving Heights she's built this successful business that has been able to kind of stand the test of time. When the pandemic hit, they were also able to adjust business operations and take advantage of the things that were available to them during the pandemic. But also I believe Roving Heights is a company that has been very agile in their operations, and I think Tobi will be sharing some great insights with us today, so looking forward to that. I'm going to go over our agenda, which is we're going to do quick introductions and house rules, which is what I'm doing right now. And we're going to go into Tobi's session, which is building businesses that stand the test of time. After this, there's something that I've missed out here, sorry, but after this, Zainab, who leads the SME vertical in our growth team, will be talking us through everything that is available on Flutterwave right now for small, medium businesses to take advantage of. We have new features like Flutterwave Store, but also in addition to that, we have invoicing and everything else that small businesses can take advantage of right now to kind of grow their businesses, to manage their businesses, to receive payments from anywhere in the world. So she'll be taking us through that, and then we'll be going through our Q&A session. And I have Shion and Akinwande, who is not here yet, but they'll be kind of answering questions. So if you have a question, another thing is the webinar is currently being recorded, and the recording will be sent out via email this week. All our previous webinars are on our YouTube. You just need to search for Flutterwave and go on our Grow My Business webinar playlist. All previous webinars are uploaded there, and you can, they're really insightful. So you can go there, get as much knowledge as possible. The videos are about an hour long minimum, but they are packed with information. So they're on YouTube for a reason, so that you can just read through or listen as much as possible. You can even listen to it like a podcast. So some rules as well. You can ask all your questions in the Q&A section. You can use the chat function to relate to other people and other attendees and respond to speakers' requests and questions and stuff. But we're only going to be addressing the questions in the Q&A section. I'm going to come back and say this maybe halfway through again, just because we know some people will join us a bit later. But you can ask questions in the Q&A section. Questions should be related to the topic or what is addressed in Zainab's section or in Tobi's session. And then if you have any other questions, or if we're unable to get to your questions, you can email hi@flutterwavego.com or send a message to FLW support on Twitter for all issues. But another thing is we have a support website, support.flutterwave.com. And if you have a question, we probably answered it there as well. So we encourage you to visit that. It's support.flutterwave.com. Hi, Toby. Are you here? Can you hear me?
Hi, Wendy. I can
Hi.
hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. Are you ready? We're ready for you.
Oh, yes, I am. Just let me stop my video and share my screen real quick.
Okay, awesome.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Tobi Eyinade, as Wendy has rightly said. I'm the co-founder of Ruby Night, and it's such an immense privilege to be here. First, I want to say a very big thank you and a major shout out to Flutterwave for creating this enabling platform for small business owners to come together and share ideas and strategies that can help their business genuinely stand the test of time. It's very rare to come by for you to find a brand that is genuinely committed to helping small businesses thrive, especially during this pandemic. So I feel it's a perfect initiative. It's a good thing that they've done to have created this kind of webinar series that allows everybody to come together, learn from one another, and kind of like pick one or two lessons that can help their business grow and stand the test of time, which is like the core of what we're going to be talking about today. Just to be very sure everybody can hear me, because the only thing I'm seeing here is like my slide and maybe like a few faces on the side. Okay, so I will be getting right into it. I quickly going to share like the outline of what we're going to be talking about basically, so everybody gets an idea of what this is about. Okay, everyone will agree with me that the subject or the topic we're addressing today is one that is really huge and is actually very important. So having just about 30-40 minutes to address this is not substantial time, let's be frank, but I will just be taking bits and major key things and lessons based on my experience and a few things that I've learned over time through books and a couple of other knowledge that I've picked up from here and there, and we'll be really dwelling on that largely. So for us, because of time, we're going to be limiting every bit of what we're talking about to all of these points of discussion, which is why build to last in the first place. I mean, we're going to get into more details about that, and we're going to talk about much harder around entrepreneurship. There are so many myths, especially in this part of the world, that surrounds the whole idea around entrepreneurship. And so we're going to be dwelling more on that aspect as well. And then we're going to touch on what really matters. Well, I hope everyone can hear me. Wendy, am I on course? Because, hello?
I can hear you clearly and I can see your screen.
Okay, so I just wanted to be sure everyone is following and all. Okay, so we're also going to be touching on the habits of enduring businesses and what's the point of having a webinar if there are no simple call to actions or things that you're supposed to take home and implement on your own. So we're going to be diving into that as well. And I think I also was kind enough to share a few resources of where all of the information that I have on my slide came from. And most of the lessons that we're going to be taking and we're going to be sharing is based on a book that I've read titled Build to Last. I don't know if everybody can see this. Build to Last is written by Jim Collins. And yeah, I'm a book a lot, and I feel that they are the perfect window into people's minds, basically. And so I want to believe that as many entrepreneurs that we have here, they are also readers as well. So let's get right into it. Okay, so quick one. I have a not so cool story to share, and I'm sure this particular story resonates with almost everybody here. You would agree with me that the entrepreneurial journey is the path less traveled. It is not glamorous at all. I would be sincere. Like, it is sometimes very lonely, bumpy, and unpredictable. I'm sure each and every one of us, I don't know what stage or level your business is at right now, but if you take a few, what's the name, trials trip down memory lane, you would agree with me that there are times when it feels very, very lonely, it's bumpy. There are days when things are looking up and then the next minute your cash flow isn't what it's supposed to be. How many people can identify with the struggle that comes, especially during the last week of every month? That particular period, salaries have to be paid, you're looking at your account balance and trying to ensure that your cash flow and you are liquid enough to be able to pay your staff, and so many other issues like that. Needless to mention the many challenges that we face in this particular ecosystem. Africa, Nigeria as a whole, there are very little or no support or infrastructure in place to help your business genuinely thrive. So you're more or less like your government. You're the one that provide the road, you're the one that provide power, and all the basic things that people enjoy in other developed countries are elusive here. And so sometimes it can be very, very bumpy. An average entrepreneur here, if you've been doing business for at least 2 years or 3 years, you would probably have gray hair, you have sleepless nights, and it can be very unpredictable, just like we are all experienced in the phenomenal year 2020. It's been the most unpredictable times, I would really be frank. I mean, at the beginning of the year, we all set our targets. We all had at the back of our minds what we want, what our projections and forecasts for the year was going to look like in terms of revenue and cash flow. But guess what? Coronavirus happened and the pandemic sort of like threw everybody off balance and humbled us and yanked off a whole quarter out of 12 months. So, these are issues. And then it takes some amount of resilience and some fair amount of craziness and audacity to venture into business. You will agree with me. Entrepreneurship is not for normal people. Not like I'm trying to say that we entrepreneurs are twisted or something, but you would agree with me in all fairness that you have to be audacious in the first instance for you to say that, oh, there's a problem that I'm looking forward to solving, and you have to have some amount of craziness for you to say that you want to venture into business, especially in a climate like ours. So bearing all of these things that I just shared in mind, why would you want to, go into business and just do it for the short term and not want to venture into it for the long haul? I feel that if you're a laborer, if you're working so hard, the essence of it is for you to be able to see whatever it is that you're laboring over genuinely stand the test of time. It's of immense fulfillment for you to see that you actually created or birthed a vision and it's still standing strong, even years after the early days, even years after you're gone or when you are off that particular project or business. So yeah, why build last? Why not? Why won't you build to last? I mean, it takes a lot of courage and tenacity to run business in the first place. So it only just makes sense for you to want to do it to genuinely succeed and all. So I want to believe everybody here are individuals that are actually in business for the long haul. You're not just doing it for the sake of, oh, I want to be able to say that I'm a boss babe, or that I want to be able to make the headline, and or you are doing it because because you want to leave a legacy behind, because you want to solve a particular problem. Okay, so another not so fun fact is the fact that 32% of public companies will no longer exist in the next 5 years. This is a fact that was actually posited by Martin Reeves. Martin Reeves is the co-author of Your Strategy Needs a Strategy. It's also one of the amazing books that I recommend for every entrepreneur to read. And you would agree with me that you must have seen research has actually shown that most small businesses would not exist after 5 years. And it's not like I'm being a prophet of doom or anything, but the truth of the matter is that the first 5 years of every business is very critical to its survival. And so there are milestones, and because of the many challenges that face an average entrepreneur, an average business during those formative years, it tends to like tell on its longevity and its survival pace. So yeah, research has actually proven this, that anywhere in the world, even in Nigeria, in developed countries, this is typically like the case. Needless to mention what is now obtainable in Africa or in Nigeria as a country. Yeah, I also shared a few of this companies. I'm sure they all look very familiar. These are like the first 4 companies on the Fortune 500 list. Amazon, everybody is familiar with Amazon. I mean, I want to believe that every serious-minded entrepreneur aspires towards the level of success. Apple, Walmart, ExxonMobil, and it baffles me that there is no Nigerian company that is on the Fortune 500 list. You would also agree with me that Nigerians are one of the most industrious species of humans, of people you would ever find around, and we labor a lot. There are so many business ideas that Nigerians keep coming up with. We're very creative people. We have been able to make so much out of nothing, literally nothing, and it's almost as if, this one nothing is showing for it. Like Dangote, I was genuinely rooting for Dangote. During my research, I was like, oh, maybe Dangote might just be one of the Fortune 500. But the only mention that was made of Aliko was the founder, Aliko Dangote, being one of the most influential businessmen in the world, basically. So these are concerns, and it goes to show that perhaps there's a need for a paradigm shift in our approach towards business, in our approach towards entrepreneurship. And so I will be diving a bit into much ado about entrepreneurship. I'm going to try as much as possible to shake some tables and to debunk some myths. And here is why. Maybe because at the time, what we've grown to believe is that, oh, you are not, like, I'm not saying entrepreneurs are not heroes or they are not phenomenals or anything, phenomenal people, but guess what? There are times some of these things that will be made to believe are kind of limiting us. They are actually stopping and impeding small businesses from actually thinking long term, from actually truly standing the test of time. So people even get it wrong in the first place. I remember in 2015 when the idea of my business just started. Fine, it stemmed from a passion for reading, right? But thank God, in like another few months in, I came to realize that passion alone is not enough. There is a need to make profit. There's a need to actually have something that fuels your passion. Because guess what? Without profits, without funding, your passion is going to fall by the wayside along the line. So these are some of the myths around entrepreneurship that we've been made to believe. One of them that we'll be made to believe in the early days. There are times when people will say, oh, leave your 9 to 5, go and follow your passion. It is your passion that will become your business and all. I'm not saying some of those things are incorrect, but guess what? There are different sides to it. There are so many things you will find out along the line as well. So one of the first myths or first tables that I really want to shake is the issue around the fact that you have to have one great product and idea. And this was actually something I found out while reading Built to Last. Again, books are very, very important. So Jim Collins is a researcher, is a business consultant that is actually very much interested in sustainability and business growth. And so one of the things he found out after in the book Built to Last, he tried as much as possible to chronicle the story or observe the operations and the habits of some of the companies that have been existing for a while in the US. In the US, in the book you find him allude to brands such as HP, companies such as P&G, Procter and Gamble. He actually alluded to Walt Disney and a couple of Sony and a couple of other companies like that. And basically, is someone who he just what he did basically is to categorize all of those companies and call them visionary companies, and then he tried to compare them to their competitions. Like, there are other people within the particular industry or space that are doing similar things, but there are some of them that have been exceptional over time. So what he tried to do is basically look at what those exceptional companies have done over time. And one of the things he observed based on his research is what HP had actually done over time. And that was where it came about the whole idea that you don't necessarily need one great idea or product for you to be able to start a company. Initially, when we were taught entrepreneurship back in the days, you're told that, oh, you're supposed to have a business plan. I'm not arguing the fact that you shouldn't have a business plan where you have like an executive summary, you have your problem statement, what you're trying to achieve and all that. But guess what? In the real sense of it, when you embark on the business eventually you find out that you would hardly go back to the business plan, because the reality of the market, the brutal reality you find out eventually would be a totally different ballgame entirely. And so, according to what's the name, Jim Collins, the HP story is one that is quite peculiar. And I found out that entrepreneurship is not one size fit all. There are different sides to every business story. And so for HP, they had to try their hands on different ideas and products. Bill, Alex, and what's the name? Packard actually came together at a particular point in time. They were both engineers, but they came to realize that they necessarily did not want to practice engineering. I mean, off the top of one's head, you would think that whatever business that they're trying to build would center around engineering and all, but they just felt like they wanted to solve a problem, and they started exploring different products and different ideas. There were so many of them that did not work until they got their big break, and HP has become like an household name now. So the second myth really keen to break is to debunk is the fact that people need to know you to buy into what you sell. Well, in the early days, maybe because there's a key part of business that has to do with integrity and trust. And then sometimes it helps tremendously when the face behind the brand is out there and people can associate a particular or affiliate a particular brand with a name. But beyond that, you begin to realize that as your business begins to evolve and expand, it doesn't make any sense anymore for you to make it evolve around you. And if more or less like the CEO or the co-founder or the founder of the business is not there, to not thrive. I think those are some of the things we've been made to believe, or an average small business owner believes that, oh, sometimes, yeah, it's good for branding purpose. Oh, sometimes my face has to be all over the place so that people can buy and know. If it works for you, fine, but if it doesn't, you find out that as your business begins to expand, there's a need for you to begin to not necessarily dissociate yourself, but you begin to let it run on its own, let it have a life of its own outside of you. Another myth table I'm about to shake is the fact that there's a blueprint of how to run a successful business. I dare to disagree on that one specifically because, again, the business is not a one size fits all. There's know-how. I mean, during the pandemic, a lot of us were thrown into panic, no thanks to what the media was circulating, because I mean, the virus is novel and we didn't really know what it was all about. And so half the time where there were so many sessions, so many webinars that were being churned out on a daily, teaching people how to make your business thrive. Fine, there are principles that you can actually use. However, nobody has lived during a pandemic before. At least the last time for my research, a pandemic happened was probably over 100 years ago. And so, and even if you were alive then, this particular virus or pandemic we're experiencing is a different ballgame entirely. And so there are necessarily no blueprints of how you should run a business. Sometimes in running a business, you find out that you would make a whole lot of mistakes along the line. You would actually have to go back to your drawing board, experiment and see what works for you, and to begin to keep doing the same thing that you found out has worked for you over time. Then there's also the myth that, oh, there's a particular style of leadership that works for business owners. In Build to Last, an average leader is made to believe that, oh, he or she is meant to be charismatic, you have to carry yourself in a particular way and all that. But William McKnight is so phenomenal. In the book, they described him as someone who is actually soft-spoken, he's not aggressive, he's not what a typical leader of a small business is supposed to look like. And the business he actually ran during his lifetime, 3M, really genuinely stood the test of time. Then the issue of forcing around every minute detail at all time. It is very important that you actually pay attention to the details, right? The truth is excellence is in the details. But guess what? As your business begins to expand, if you are thinking long term, because it is not productive use of time for you to always fuss over every little detail, you find out that there are other models or strategies that you can put in place that will help you do all of this, and then you can begin to focus on the bigger picture. Um, okay, so I'll be dwelling a bit more now on what really matters. These are practical tips that I think have worked for me and have actually kept me going or kept her business going over time. The first is that it will sometimes take a lot of tinkering, persisting, experimenting, try and error to build a long-lasting business. Let's be frank, you would make mistakes. There will be things that you would not find out about until after you've tried it and then they did not work. At least you learn that way. However, there's the notion that it is good for you to learn from other people's experience and all that, but that doesn't nullify the place of experimenting and actually persisting. Persistence is like one of the key tenets of a long-lasting business. You have to be open to trying out new ideas. You have to be open and agile enough to go back to the drawing board and find out what works and what does not work in order for you to actually stand the test of time. Then there's also the need to institutionalize systems. Yes, there's the dictionary defines the process of building institution as actually formulating certain level of customs or proceedings for running things. And so if, for instance, in my at Robin Heights, there's the idea that we have, there's this particular, what's the name, tenant who try to post it, especially in our organization. We try to make every staff realize that they are valuable, but guess what? You are not indispensable. And when everybody knows as what works for them, but when you begin to institutionalize some of the systems, some of these tenants and core things that actually guide your business, it begins to register in the mind of those that you work with. When you institutionalize systems, you begin to realize that it takes a lot of hassle off you, and you begin to have the free mind to actually focus on strategy building and a couple of other more important things that will help your business actually grow. Then you also need to design an organization. Finding the first, depending on how scalable, how your business, depending on the pace at which your business is scaling, you begin to realize that there's also a need for you to build an organization. Organization is the process of like setting in place more bits and small things that would or without you being on board. So newsflash, in 2016, because I had always been one person that believes so much in exploring different sides to myself, I also was yearning to get a professional experience. I had some brands or organizations and so I had to take a break, not necessarily a break, I had to take up a 9 to 5 during the early days of my business. And guess what? During the recruitment process, some of the first questions that was always asked was also, most people are always leaving 9 to 5 to start a business. How come you are trying to dive into one and all of that? And then the best response that I could always give was the fact that I wanted to be able to test if my vision and whatever it is that I have going can run with or without me. I feel that's like the highest level of aspiration you should have as a business owner. There should be little or no bottlenecks in place, so much so that you can actually take some time off, or when you're not around or for circumstances beyond your control, you are not there, things can still run without you. And so that is why it is very important to actually design an organization. Then you leave the responsibility of details. It's also a waste of time when you actually have to, like I said earlier, have to force around every detail when you can actually delegate and give people some of these key things to work on. Okay, so in Build to Last, the author talks about the concept of clock building, not time telling. So he used an analogy that it's before now, if you have somebody that actually goes to check the time for you, say for instance, you're right in front of your desk and you can't check maybe your wristwatch or something, now you go ahead to tell somebody that, oh, go check the time for me, and the person tells you that 11:26. Before the person walks back to you or give you that information back, there are some nanoseconds or milliseconds that must have passed, and so the information will not be accurate, even though it is excellent for the person to have given you that information. But it is, how about you think of building a clock and having that clock station somewhere, and you don't have to always have people to tell you time. If the clock is there, you can always gaze at it when you need that particular information and run with it. And so it is very important as small business owners to begin to think along the process, along the line of actually drawing up processes, automating processes that would be there with or without you being in place, and would actually be able to run on its own, even when you're not there. I keep emphasizing the place of leaving a legacy, running a structure that is not necessarily dependent on you, because I feel those are some of the characteristics of what's the name, a business that actually stands the test of time. When your business begins to grow, there's the tendency, I struggle a bit with that, I will be frank. I remember there are days at Rovie nights when I miss the opportunity to interact face to face with customers. During the early days, it was always exciting for me to be in the DM on our social media pages, be the one to handle everything, be the alpha and omega of everything and all. But as the business begins to expand, you begin to realize that there's a need for you to sort of like delegate, have more people in place. It is more effective and efficient use of time if you have other people, in place to run some of the key operational aspect of your business. And so during those early days, it was always it was always exciting to meet a book enthusiast, and the conversation was always beautiful. But guess what? There are so many things that needs to be focused on. Even though it is always a delight to rub minds with the book enthusiast, I found out that I need to start focusing on more strategic things, and I shouldn't be found wasting so much, not necessarily wasting time, but really interacting with such people. Probably when the occasion calls for it, fine. So it is more of clock building for me to understand that, see, in order for my business to genuinely stand the test of time, for you to evolve and grow bigger and to actually scale, it is more clock building for me to focus on more strategic things rather than time telling, to be involved in operations and all of this, excuse me, other little details. So I want to touch briefly again on building great systems. In Build to Last, Jim Collins actually dwelled on two concepts. In the beginning of most of the chapters of the book, you would always say something about this dynamic duality, which he called preserving the core and stimulating progress. This business actually exhibits a dynamic duality, first being that they stem from a set of timeless core values and purpose that is constant over time. So this takes us back to the drawing board, where you begin to think about what's the core of your business? Why are you even in what you're doing? And when your business is mentioned anywhere, what do you want people to remember you for? What do you want to come to the mind of people when they mention your business? When they mention Rovie Nights, off the top of my head, what I want everybody to understand or know about the brand is, the beauty and the convenience of having a book delivered to your doorstep. There are so many ways to actually articulate this, but in simple terms, it's very important for you to actually break down this particular core and make sure that you stick to it and it is consistent over time. Fine, there might be occasions where things might not go the way you envisage, but more than 70% of the time, this core value is what everybody knows your brand to be known for. In Build to Last, there are so many things, some of the foremost companies, the enduring companies have been known to stand for. For instance, for Disney, they are known, one of their core values is to make people happy. For Walmart, it is to give ordinary folks the chance to buy the same thing as rich people. And you will find out that these things resonate in the products and services that your business dishes out. You find out that this thing is also very important in the way you communicate with your customer, in the way all of your dealings and operations is typically being done. Then there's also the need to stimulate progress. It is not just enough to have for you to have like your core value in place or the key tenants that you want your business to be known for. There's a need for you to be able to innovate. There's a need for you to be able to embrace change as it comes. During the pandemic, Robin Knight had to go back to this drawing board and begin to realize that the future of everything is digital, and there's a need for us to upgrade our digital infrastructure because it is where everybody can easily connect to us. So in order for you to make sure that your business is standing strong, you would definitely as a business owner have sleepless nights because good is never enough. You are as always aspiring. Even when you get a hang of a particular challenge or issue or a particular product, there is always a need for you to evolve, for you to think of better ways to do things, basically. I'm going to be reading this particular excerpt from the book, and I feel it's perhaps the crux of every bit of what I've been talking about. It's about drive. So in this particular book, the author tried as much as possible to kind of like get into the anatomy of an average entrepreneur, what actually goals should be the specific makeup of a business owner. So here it said, like a persistent and incurable itch, the drive for progress in a highly visionary company can never be satisfied under any condition, even if the business succeeds enormously. The drive for progress doesn't wait for the external world to say it is time to change, or it is time to improve, or it is time to invent something new. No. Like the drive inside a great artist or a prolific inventor, it is simply there, pushing outward and onward. You don't create Disneyland, build 747, pursue Six Sigma quality, invent 3M, post-it card, institute employee stock ownership, on and on like that, and be on your deathbed and a store manager on your deathbed environment demands it. These things arise out of an inner urge for progress. In a visionary company, the drive to go further and to do better, to create new possibilities, needs no external justification. And here's one thing, I am not trying to aspire to perspire. No, the truth of the matter is this: the road to building a long-lasting business is actually a very bumpy one, like I said earlier, and you can't afford to allow your drive come from external factors. You can't afford to wait till when people begin to probe you that, oh, these are the things you should do. You should actually be able to preempt your customers. You should be able to preempt what the market wants and begin to think of ways to keep your business running, making sure that every single time when they mention anything that has to do with book retail in Nigeria, in Africa, the first name that comes to their mind is Rovi Knights. When they mention, oh, the foremost ready-to-wear fashion brand in this part of the world that is affordable, or whatever it is your core tenant is, it is your brand name that comes to mind. And then on the issue of drive, I will tell you that it is not every day that you are 100%. It's not every day that you are actually motivated or you are very excited to pursue all of these things. And that is why it is very important for you to find what fits your drive. For some people, they have the privilege of having co-founders or partners or people that make up like their advisory board that they can always go back to and rub minds with or share ideas with. That's a fantastic way for you to feed your drive. These are the people that will sort of like tell you that, oh, sometimes these are the things you should focus on. Because the weird thing is, sometimes when you are engrossed in something, it is pretty very difficult for you to see the loopholes, for you to even see the need for you to improve. but it is when you take a step backwards, when you try to have like an aerial view of everything, that you begin to see that these are the areas where I should improve on. And that's why sometimes some people say that it is very important for you to have maybe like an external consultant, someone in form of a coach or a mentor that can actually point you in the right direction and help you shine the spotlight on areas where you should grow, you should, drive your success towards. But guess what? There are moments when all of those things don't exist and you actually have to go back to self. And that is when you even begin to ask yourself, why did you even start this business in the first place? And so it's like an incurable itch. That's why I believe that an average business owner is not normal. Like you don't think like the ordinary person. In every situation, you are seeing opportunities. In every circumstance, when other people are looking in this particular direction, you're already thinking how you can make profit. You're already thinking how you can plug in or key into a particular trend, a key into a particular situation, and use it to drive whatever product or service that you are trying to put out there. So the last thing also I want to talk about is the fact that comfort is the enemy. Guess what? There's a tendency that if you allow your drive to come from external factors, there's especially when everybody is praising or the accolades are all there, there's a tendency that you feel that, oh, you're there, there's no need for me to improve or to innovate anymore. But it is at that particular time that you should begin to see the need to move forward, to begin to move ahead. There should be this innate sense of discontentment. Not like you are not satisfied, not like you don't acknowledge your wins or anything, but you should also always realize that there is more. In Build to Last, Jim Collins shared the story of Procter and Gamble and what the CEO used to do during their early days, because the brand was doing well, they were churning out amazing products that the market actually need. But eventually they found out that people were getting complacent, their employees were beginning to relax, and you don't want an environment such as that. So in order to actually keep the business going and actually make it grow more and truly stand the test of time, the CEO did not just articulate in a newsletter or in a memo that, oh guys, there's a need for us to always keep going and say this thing. He actually put it to action, and here was the strategy he used. He created an internal competition. So you find out that there are some P&G products that are actually similar, but they are made by the same brand. So there was this internal competition that was created, so much so that the brand began to churn out the same products, similar products, but they wanted to experiment and keep the employees on their toes to make sure that they always deliver and they are always innovating and thinking of new ways to make things better. Here at Roving Night, during the pandemic, you would even think that it is at that particular period you want to take things slowly. But guess not, no. It was at that particular point in time we saw the need to actually begin to set sales targets for every staff. Everybody is a cash center and not a cost center. Even to the operations person, everybody began to have like a sales channel that they have to optimize sales through. And honestly, it worked, because there's the innate desire in human to want to be better off than the next person or to be better than yesterday. And so it is not just enough to say these things. You also want to put in actionable plan that will help your employees or will help your organization to actually thrive. So yeah, the danger of complacency is the fact that things will just be normal. Everything will just be ordinary. And before you know it, your brand or your business begins not necessarily die, but does not come to mind or does not have that sticky effect that it's supposed to. Okay, so finally, I'm almost done. The simple call to action. Like I said earlier, there's no point having all of this conversation without mentioning some of the things that I would expect that every business owner will go back to do. I believe that no matter how small your business is, you should have at least an SOP. And here is what the SOP does. Peradventure, during the pandemic or something just happens and you're just not there, it doesn't make sense for you to have labored all your life and then something happens, you're no longer there, and the thing begins to diminish. And this is what happens when everything evolves around one person and you've not documented some of your processes. And that is why it's important for you to have like a standard operating procedure. It's a small document. It might not be, depending on how enormous or how lengthy your operations and activities are, you should have like a standard operating procedure that anybody can always look at if peradventure you need to hand over or you will not be around for a short period of time, so they can run with whatever vision or whatever tenants that you set in place. Then there's also the need to create a process document. A process document is sometimes when you have to hire like a consultant, a management consultant to do all of these things, it might come at a fortune. But the resources are available online, no matter how little, especially because as a small business, you're trying to cut costs, and depending on what your revenue level is, you want to have a process document that shows even to the tiniest detail what your team members are supposed to do per time. And then you should also, I'm hoping that at the end of this session, or everybody here will tend to like prioritize the needs to make time for novel and creative thinking. So even when you have a product that is doing well, you are even shooting beyond what your sales target is, or whatever it is that your revenue goals are, there has to always be more. And so if you find out that, oh, initially the goal you set at the beginning of July was 20 million naira in revenue, if you've met that, then that means that goes to show that the market is huge. There's a need for you to even expand the scope of whatever target that you've set. And then if you are the person that, or you are the entrepreneur or the boss that fusses around every small detail, you are the one that they have to come to even when they want to make the smallest decision. It is not effective leadership. It is not an effective way to operate. There's a need for you to delegate. And so I would hope that everyone listening would actually begin to learn how to actually groom someone on your team that peradventure, if you're not around, should be able to run the business when you're not there. There's no point you being a leader if you're not grooming successors, if you're not grooming people that can carry on without you being there. So there's a need to actually delegate. So think of actionable ways through which you can carry out delegation. If you have to build the capacity of your team members, if you have to probably hire a more competent end that would, you have to pay more, please set it as a goal and try and work towards achieving it. And yes, automating processes. It's a digital age and time. You can't afford to keep doing things the traditional method. So if there are softwares, plugins, and applications that you can actually use to automate some of your processes, please embrace them. I remember in our third year at Rovie Nights, when as the brand was growing, demand and the market was increasing, and we always had an issue at the back end with processing orders. There were times when we couldn't track the details of customers from depending on whichever channel they come from. I was at that point to realize that we needed to build like a back-end system that is going to help our team members and our operations person to be able to track. So by the time any order comes in, there's a system that people can actually enter their information. And when the order is dispatched, it is updated. When it is delivered, it is also updated. Even at the pace of us automating some of these processes, there are still times when things would, not go the way they are supposed to. But when you realize that at least you've made the first step and you're still innovating, you're thinking every night, you're thinking every day of ways to make things better, or even ease and make your business run conveniently, then your business is on the way to actually staying longer than it's supposed to, than you actually envisage. And so, yeah, most importantly, I think I want to emphasize the need for every small business owner to have like a paradigm shift. Think long term, don't think short term. It's not rewarding for you to run something as demanding as a business or a solution for the short term. It hurts me whenever I look back at brands and businesses that started in 2015 and they are absolutely nowhere to be found now, and they are not even growing at the pace that they are supposed to. But I don't blame some of these people, some of the owners, because there are different challenges that typically come the way of every individual. So yes, that's like the long and short of my presentation. I hope everybody who has tuned in has been able to pick up one or two things. And the major resource that some of the tenants and the key strategic things that I shared during the session came from is Built to Last, the book, and it's available on our Flutterwave store. So please make sure to grab a copy to get full details on what this is all about. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Toby. That was really, really insightful. Um, we will see if we will probably send the link to the Build to Last link to a specific book for the Robin Heights Flutterwave store so that people can shop when they're ready. Thank you so much. Zainab, we're ready for you.
Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you so much, Toby. That was very insightful. I literally have just like less than 5 minutes, so I'm just going to share my screen and go straight to my presentation, which is going to be pretty short. Okay, everyone, good morning. I'll just go straight to the presentation because of time. Just like Wendy said, Flutterwave as an organization, we have quite a lot of other offerings for small and medium business owners. One of such offerings is the Google My Business listing, which allows you list your business for visibility on the Google My Business platform. What this does for you basically is whenever anyone does a search, they are able to see details about your business, they're able to see the address, phone numbers, your open hours, the kind of services that you provide. All that is available for the customer when they do a Google search on your business. So we've partnered with Google to provide this to all our account holders for free. So just like Yewande said again, after this webinar, we're going to be sharing an email, I think by close of business tomorrow or Wednesday. That email is going to contain a link for you to click on if you're interested in getting your business registered on Google My Business. Now, that registration is absolutely free. You're not paying for it. So if you click on the link, if you're interested as a business owner, a representative from Google will contact you and get further details and information from you and get your business registered on Google My Business. Another initiative we put together is this webinar, the Grow My Business webinar, which we've been holding for well over 4 months now. Right, the idea behind the webinar is just to get industry experts, to come talk to us about what's going on, especially in this pandemic. How can you thrive as a business owner? How to ensure that your business stays afloat and there are no issues. Another initiative we've put together, which is probably the most popular, is called the Flutterwave store. I'm sure a lot of us have heard about the Flutterwave store. Flutterwave store is just a very quick and easy way for you to pivot your business online. So today, if you have a business that you're managing and you don't have an online presence, then the Flutterwave store is for you. It's very quick, it's very seamless, it's simple, it's fast. You can set up your store within minutes and immediately start to receive payment. So the store allows you to list your products, you can upload images, set prices and other descriptors, and then once you're done with that, you can share your store link with your network. So think of your Flutterwave store as a mini website for you, and then your store link as your website URL. So once you're done setting up a Flutterwave store, you can just go ahead and share your store link with your network. So that can be via an email blast. It could be on social media. You can just put up a post telling people that you're now selling on Flutterwave store and this is your link. Or you can send like a WhatsApp broadcast with your Flutterwave store link so that your contacts know that if they want to buy from you, all they need to do is click on the link and they're able to purchase. Now, the Flutterwave store came about, it was conceived as part of Flutterwave's resolve to help businesses keep the lights on, especially during the lockdown period, right? We're still in the pandemic because as we speak today, there's no known cure for COVID-19. So we're still in a pandemic situation. So everyone is being careful. People don't go out as much as possible, right? And though the economy is opening back up in the sense that businesses are still opening, the truth is it can never be the same, right? Customer behavior has changed. I mean, the other day I went out to a couple of stores, restaurants, they were all open, right? You could come in and dine in. And these are restaurants that were pre-COVID, was always full. You couldn't even get like a parking lot. So these restaurants were still open, but the truth is they're all empty. You just see like one or two people, right? The truth is customer behavior has changed. So if this restaurant is not able to accept payments online and deliver, then they're going to run at a loss within a matter of minutes. Toby mentioned earlier that businesses had the last 5 years, in Nigeria, small businesses, and that was, the truth is, even now, right, even if you're past 5 years, if you're not able to quickly adapt, quickly pivot online, you're going to be facing bankruptcy, because the truth is people will not physically come to your location. They would rather go to an online presence and pay and have their goods or service delivered to them. So customer behavior has changed, and so all businesses would have to quickly find a way to change as well, to adapt. It's all about agility, so they need to have that online presence in order to stay open. So the pandemic was the reason why the store launched, but even post-pandemic, customer behavior has changed, so it's still very relevant at this time. So that's the reason why the Flutterwave store came about. Now, how do you set up your store? I'm going to be playing a very short video to show how easy and quick it is to set up a Flutterwave store. But basically, the requirement is for you to, first of all, have a Flutterwave account. Once you have a Flutterwave account, you can now go to your dashboard and select store and set up your store. Basically, what that means is, put in your store name, put in your products. So you have images, descriptions, put them in, and then click on setup complete. Once you do that, your store link can now be shared with your network. So who can use the Flutterwave store? Basically, anyone who has a product or service to provide can use the Flutterwave store. So you're selling clothes, shoes, books. A typical example is Roving Heights, the bookstore, who is also on Flutterwave store. So many other businesses. So if you're selling skincare, you're into accessories, natural products, whatever it is you're selling, you can be profiled on Flutterwave store as long as it's not contraband, of course. And the Flutterwave store is, like I said, there are no boundaries. It allows you receive payments from both local and international customers, which is also a very good thing, because before now, probably if you're selling on Instagram only, for example, and you have a customer make an inquiry outside of Nigeria and the customer is interested in your product, at the end of the discussion, the customer says, okay, how do I pay? And you are just used to, okay, these are my bank account details. And maybe the customer is, maybe, I don't know, in Canada, and the customer doesn't have a Nigerian bank account. So how does the customer send money for the product they're interested in? So that's another major issue for most small, medium businesses selling on Instagram, today. But the Flutterwave store takes care of that, because with the Flutterwave store, you're able to accept payments, both local and international, and you receive those payments into your designated bank account. So it allows the customer put in their card details if they're paying with card, and then once that is done, the card is charged, the customer's account is debited, and then your designated bank account is credited. So that's another very good feature of a Flutterwave store for business owners. Another important one to note is that it helps you with your inventory management system. So today, if you are a business owner who has like a lot of products, different products with maybe 50, 100, 200, and each time a customer wants to buy from you, you always have to reconfirm if that product is available. You know, the Flutterwave store helps you with that because there's an inventory management system which allows you at the point of setup put in the number of each item. So for example, you sell shoes and you have different types of shoes. So at the point of setup of your Flutterwave store, you can put in maybe River Island shoes, 100 pieces, next shoes, 50 pieces. And then as people are paying and buying on the store, the number gets depleted. And of course, when the number is getting pretty low, you would also get a notification to let you know that you're getting low on stock on this particular item. So you can now let your customers know that the product is either getting low on stock, or you can now reorder more of such items. So it helps you with your inventory management. Like I said, you don't need to have a website. It also helps with brand visibility and improve sales, because as a business, we're not just providing you with a solution and then we're hands-on off. I don't know if a number of us watch BB Ninja today. You would have noticed a couple of Flutterwave store merchants were advertised on BB Ninja, and we did that for absolutely free. So as a store merchant, we do a lot of things for you. We don't just give you a platform to sell. We help you with creating awareness on your product. So if you follow Flutterwave on social media, for example, you would see we've done adverts for quite a lot of these store owners. So we let people know that if you're looking for this item, you can check out this list of stores. If this is the item you're looking for, check out this list of stores. And we've seen a corresponding growth in their transactions. So we help you with brand visibility for improved sales. You don't need to have a website. It's very easy to set up. You don't even need to have a technical person. We made it that simple. So you can set it up yourself. It helps you with your inventory management system. It also comes with integrated delivery for those who do not have delivery system set up. And of course, you have multiple payment options, which is very important. For example, you want to buy an item, maybe you notice that a particular store merchant is on sales and it's just for a short period of time. You go to your wallet, you see that your card is not there and you need to quickly make a payment. So we have multiple payment options. You can pay with your card, you can pay with your bank transfer, you can pay with USSD, you can even pay using QR code, and local and international card acceptance is available. Right. The beauty about the store is that the setup is absolutely free. You can come on board Flutterwave store without paying one kobo. It's absolutely free. However, there are transaction charges, 1.4% capped at 2,000 for local cards, and then 3.8% with no cap for foreign cards. And that brings us to the end of my presentation. So with the Flutterwave store, I know a lot of us sell on Instagram, social media. Today, you know, for every single sale, you have to interact with the customer. So, you know, either you tell the customer DM for price, or the customer would have to wait for you to send your account details. With the Flutterwave store, all of that is eliminated. So you don't need to wait for DM for price, or, you know, wait for send your account details to be able to consummate a transaction. You can be a seller on Flutterwave store. You go to bed at night, you wake up in the morning and you see that a payment or two has already gone through, because you've already put in motion a process where transactions can go through without you having to physically or manually interact with every single customer before a sale happens. And that's really the dream of every entrepreneur. Just like Tobi said, you have to think bigger than where you are now. You have to think of scaling, and you really cannot scale if for every single sale that happens, you must interact with the customer. So that's where the Flutterwave store comes in, to ensure that you don't need to go through all that hassle to carry out a single sale. Now, I know I've been talking about how easy and quick and seamless the Flutterwave store is. Don't just take my word for it. I will play a very short video for us to see how we can get on Flutterwave store in just a matter of minutes, right? So here is the video. I hope everyone can still see my screen.
Does the success in your online business look like? What are the ingredients needed to succeed in selling online? Here's the obvious hint. You need the Flutterwave store. Here are the ingredients you need to succeed. Great product images, responsive layout, default payments integration, instant notifications, fast checkout, and even delivery. If you have no coding skills or knowledge, you're just as welcome because the Flutterwave store doesn't require any. You can create a store for your business for free and start selling in 5 minutes or less. Step 1. Visit www.flutterwave.com/store and click on Set up your store for free. Step 2. Complete the sign-up form and click Get Started. Step 3. Check your email inbox for verification mail and click on the link. Select how you want to accept payments. Step 4. Click on Store in the side menu of your admin panel, fill in the details, and take it online. Step 5. Add products and start selling. Create your own online store today and receive payments from around the world. The Flutterwave store. Just sign up, list, and sell. It's that easy.
Right. So that's it for the short video. Sorry, one second. So this is what a Flutterwave store looks like. This is for Lofts by Nature Cosmetics. This store deals in natural skincare. So you can, like I said earlier, upload pictures of your products and then you can start selling. So assuming I want to shop from this store, I can just come here and click on, this is a face cream, right? And then I add it to my cart. Once I click on my cart, I see the things that I want to buy and then I click on continue. I put in all of my details and then when I click on place order, the Flutterwave payment model comes up with a list of products, list of options. Okay, let me see if I can quickly just put that in. So I'm the customer buying now. Select my country. My state is Lagos State. City is Lagos Island. Now this customer has set up their delivery, so it's fixed. I'll just select my location, which is Lagos Island. My delivery address, I can just say Flutterwave Lekki. And my delivery notes can be anything. It could be call me on the morning of delivery, just as an example. And then I click on place your order. So fantastic. This is exactly what the payment model looks like. Remember I talked about international cards being accepted. So if you have a customer outside of Nigeria, just tell them to pay with their card. They put in their card details here and then they click on pay. I can pay with USSD, pay with bank transfer, and all these other options are available to make payments. So once the payment is made and is successful, the customer gets a notification and the business owner also gets a notification. So you get an electronic receipt sent to your email and the business owner gets a notification that an order has been made. So they just go to that order, click on it and they see details of the payment. So details are what I've paid for, my delivery address, my delivery note, all those details. And then I can just go ahead and send the order to the customer. So that's it for my presentation. I guess we could take questions now.
Yeah, we have a few questions, but we've actually answered most of them. I'm going to read someone's question. My question is regards to Flutter store. From my understanding, the only way one can get access to your store is through the link generated for you, which you have to post on your social media platforms. My question is, how can one find your store or have access to it by surfing the dashboard? Also, it would be nice if you have a dashboard app which you can log in to control instead of having to go by browser. basically, is it possible to have access to a feed that shows products you're interested in and gives you access to those stores that supply them? For me, the link should be a bonus and not the only means of access to your Flutterwave store. Let me try and explain or answer this question as much as possible. So this person is basically asking for a means or like a marketplace, essentially, right? At the moment, Flutterwave store or your Flutterwave store is supposed to act as a website for you, which means that you treat it like a website. You put it on your social media pages, you direct people to go and shop on your store. People want to make a payment, they're asking for where they can see your full catalog of products, you send them a Flutterwave store link. So it acts like a website for you, which means that there's currently, I mean, while I understand the need for a marketplace, and we're actually working on one and optimizing it, it's still, I mean, the primary function of Flutterwave store is to provide businesses with an online platform, a website, a website that does not require you to code, that does not require you to figure out all those things when it comes to, you know, designing it and stuff like that. Quick, easy, upload your products, list it, collect your payments, deliver to your customers. That's the idea behind it, right? And so while this is great feedback, especially the idea of, you know, us having a dashboard app, that's great feedback, which we'll definitely take into consideration. But we have to think, I mean, we kind of have to think about Flutterwave store as our website, as opposed to thinking of it, because even with a marketplace, which we are working on, like I've said, the idea would be, it would work like a directory, so that people want to find businesses that are selling bags and shoes and stuff, but it would still operate kind of like, you find the business, you click on their website link, which is your Flutterwave store link, and then you shop from that business. I hope that answers your question, but thank you very much for this feedback. Flutterwave store, someone is asking if this is just for Nigeria. No, it is available globally, available anywhere that you can register for a Flutterwave account. You can create a Flutterwave store as well. We have businesses in Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, the US that all have Flutterwave stores as well. You obviously operate, you can add in your own shipping costs. It is a website for you, which means if we enable you to receive payments, we are enabling you to also have a Flutterwave store, and the pricing will be listed in your currency, US dollars, Ghanaian cedis, Kenyan shillings, however. This question is for Tobi. What stage should your business be before thinking of having a team?
Oh, hi, Daniel. Thank you for your question. So I think as soon as your business begins to appeal to a market and you begin to understand that there's a large market for you to appeal to, and it's beginning to look like you alone cannot get it done. So from my own point of view, from my experience, I knew the business could not just evolve around me alone, and I needed help in terms of operation and all of that. So right from day one, I think like 2 weeks into starting, I got a team member. And so that even kept me on my feet and kept me accountable, because I knew that there was somebody else that is counting on me to carry on the vision. And so when you know that your business is kicking off and there's a market for it, and you've tested that, oh yes, there's a product, is beginning to get some amount of traction. So at that particular point in time, and as the traction begins to increase, then if you find out that it's beginning to look like too much for you to handle, and you're looking at pumping in more budget for marketing and everything, then you need to have a team. Then you need to expand your team if you already have one. Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, I think it does. Next question is, can one offer digital services, or it's only linked to services with physical products? This is Paul, and then he's also asking, does Flutterwave help with deliveries, or deliveries are handled only by the sellers? So we're still where one of the things that we offered, I'll answer the first question first. The second question first, which is the delivery question, because we get quite a few of those. the delivery system right now, we're trying to work out something that is beneficial to everyone that wants to opt into it. We've tested out a few delivery partners, and we're still in the process of just kind of perfecting it before we go live with it. So deliveries are currently being handled by all the merchants that use Flutterwave store. First question is, can one offer digital services? Flutterwave as a business, as a whole, is much more than just Flutterwave store. So you can, it depends on the services that you're offering. So you can be, I don't know, if your services are, maybe if you're a freelance videographer, our invoicing feature may be more useful to you than actually Flutterwave store. But people are definitely offering digital services on Flutterwave store at this time. But people are also using payment links. Payment links is something that allows you to send a link to somebody. You generate it on your Flutterwave dashboard. You send a link to someone. They don't have a Flutterwave. You don't have a website. They don't have to do anything else. They just need to put in their details, make the payments to you. That's something that people are doing at this time. There are people that are, creating CVs for people or helping people with their CV work or career consulting, and they use Flutterwave payment links to do that, as opposed to Flutterwave store. So while Flutterwave store may not be the solution for all digital services, we do have an answer for literally all digital services. We help businesses grow and receive payments at every stage of growth. So you can integrate Flutterwave checkout on your website, or you can also use our payment links if you don't have a website. You can also use invoicing as well, which helps you and your customers keep track of your payments. I hope that answers your question. Toby, there's a question for you. How do you cross the financial issues when you started?
Thank you, Adewale, for your question. I'm not too clear on what you mean by financial issues, but I will try to make some assumptions. So in terms of, probably you're talking about capital. If it's issues around capital and all of that, then perhaps you want to seek alternative mode of generating the capital that would probably help you scale your business or to even start it in the first place. One of the most reliable and fastest way to get that, like as most business schools advise, is for you to go to friends and family. There are people that know you and they understand your drive for whatever solution you're trying to provide. If you share the idea with them some and you kind of pitch the ideas to them, some of them might be willing to pump in some money into your business. So that's a good way for you to solve this financial issue when you started. For me, when it all started, I fell back to family and friends like I am advising right now. So I think that's a good place for you to start. So the startup capital can always come from family and friends. I think that's usually the easiest. And I also believe that lately there are some financial institutions that are offering loan or credit facility for small businesses. I know of a few brands that I would not mention, but if you go online, you can always access some of them. Then the other option is to probably pitch to a venture capitalist or anybody at all that is willing to buy into your idea as well. Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Adewale.
I hope so too. Adewale said raising funds. He kind of answered again.
Oh, so yeah, I guess I answered that already.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, he said yes, thank you. Okay. Kelechi Amadi is asking, can I have different settings for different payment links with respect to who pays the charges, e.g. some merchants and then some customers? Hi Kelechi, the answer is yes. Your payment links, you can generate as many as you want and you can send them to different people that serves different purposes. If you want the person to put in the amounts that they're paying you, leave the amount open and don't put a figure in there. But if you want them to pay you a certain amount, put in the amount there. But payment links allow a lot of flexibility. And you can even use it for personal one-on-one situations. Maybe people are doing donations for, if you're in Nigeria, for Ashwebi, and you want to use payment links. We've done that before, and we do it with many things. It's definitely something that we can support. Someone is asking, is it the task of the business owner to look for a third-party delivery company? I think I've answered a question on delivery already, which is we are working to kind of make it work, and that's something that we plan to do. But right now, if you want to go live, what businesses are doing is they're handling deliveries by themselves. But it's something that we're definitely going to finalize, perfect, and then we'll announce when that's ready. We've also answered all questions on charges. I believe Zainab went through that during her presentation. And someone is asking, how can I integrate payment links to my website? I think I need a little bit of information, but you can embed the link to your website. There are charities that do donations, and what they simply do is they just embed the donation link to their website. So when somebody clicks donate, then it leads them to a Flutterwave payment link where they put in their details and they're able to donate. The same would work for a payment link as well. But another thing is, if your website supports e-commerce functionality, you can probably go for Flutterwave, the API, the checkout integration, right? Which will allow you to also receive payments that is not limited to just payment links. So you have the option of payment links, but you also have the option of checkout integration as well. Someone is asking, why can't you add your business account to your store? It keeps on rejecting your corporate account. So unfortunately, I don't have your details right now, so I can't answer this question. But I shared earlier, FLW support on Twitter or hi@flutterwavego.com. So Tony, if you want to just send us an email, we need more information to be able to help with this, to be able to give you more kind of helpful feedback on why this is not working. Yeah. And then someone is asking, how do I make my account active? Do I need to send my Flutterwave link to my customers? If yes, please, where can I locate this on my dashboard? Zainab, would you like to, do you have your dashboard open on your computer?
Hi, sorry, I don't at this
Okay.
time.
Okay. So first, let me see if I can, hold on, let me just see if I can show you what the dashboard looks like. Please hold on. Right, so this is a dummy account, as you can probably see, but go to store and then click on manage store. You can see that my store is offline. I can take my store online by clicking take your store online right here. And then if I want to take it back offline, I will take my store back offline here. Here's the link to my Flutterwave store right here, flutterwave.com/store/storytelling team. If I want to copy that link, I just need to click on it and it takes me here. My store is offline, so it's not going to show, but let me take my store online again and then click on the link again and it brings me here, right? I can see my Flutterwave store right here. You can right click on it and copy the link address and then paste it wherever you want to paste it. You want to share it with your customers, you want to share it on social media, just copy it via your dashboard. All that information is available on your dashboard. If you just play around with it, look through it, you can see that. Also, for everyone who's asking about digital goods, you can completely turn off shipping because it's digital services that you're offering and not physical services. So that we kind of allow you that flexibility when it comes to shipping as well. Hope that answers your question. Someone is asking, it's the first time that I'm going to join Flutterwave store. I would like to make a correction that our name is Flutterwave, Flutterwave, and it's all one word, Flutterwave store. But does it bring a link for Flutterwave on my business account? I'm really sorry, but I don't really know what you're referring to here. If you can email us, hi@flutterwavego.com, we'll be able to answer your question. and you know, give you more direct feedback. When it comes to really specific questions, we need a little bit more information to be able to assist you. Yeah. And then this is the last question that we're going to take, because we're now right at 11:30, which is when we're supposed to end this. Today is my first day joining the webinar. How do I go about it? Because I'm based in Accra, Ghana. Hi, Olakunle. We're able to support. You just need to go on dashboard.flutterwave.com, sign up as a merchant, and then, you know, you can receive payments based in Ghana. We have businesses receiving payments in Ghana right now from anywhere in the world. And the great thing is, like, people in Ghana can pay you with mobile money for Ghana as well. Just need to go on dashboard.flutterwave.com and you'll be able to sign up. When you sign up, figure out what do you want to use. Do you want to create a Flutterwave store? Just scroll on the left side of a dashboard to Flutterwave store. Click on it, create your store, upload your products, and then you're good to go. The pricing and the currency that you are being shown is based on your location. Unfortunately, we can't get to all answer questions right now. We're out of time, but we really appreciate you all joining us today. If your question has not been answered, I will share this one more time. Please email hi@flutterwavego.com or send us a DM on social media. Our Twitter is @theflutterwave and our Instagram is @theflutterwave as well. And then we also have a support page, which is FLW support. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Tobi, for taking us through a very insightful session on building a business that stands the test of time. We really appreciate you. The next session is going to be 2 weeks from now, and we'll be sure to communicate that. This session was recorded, as you all know. We're sending that via email as well, but it will also be uploaded on our YouTube. That should hopefully happen by tomorrow, and then we'll send that via email by Wednesday or Thursday. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great week.